take your child off the battlefield. Calm down and rest assured. Even if we have to be patient, don't let her get hurt. The Lord God, I hope you can do that. Paperboard and photographer negotiate the plan book, dealing with the enemy, and left the hospital. I just went thinking. The enemy is busy. Suddenly, someone came behind me. He turned his face in surprise and asked, "Why are you here?" And he spoke up to his father. "I've got something to say." Before he could speak, he spoke. "Father, you've been so good to me." Like the father, if not a person, I was soon dead in the market. I don't know what to pay for this kindness. Even if you want to take Ra's life in exchange. I am also committed. Please call Han Nie. But he shook his head. You all understand, I have no intention of winning the title. Even though I've always liked death. But I know my status is low. Not worthy of her. Is it comforting? You don't have to take yourself for granted. Probably as good as you, during this time period, can definitely achieve the rank of engraved Kim. My father used to be a commoner. That's why I'm here for death. It's the first time we've been able to do it right away. But my children are my brothers. IP Han replied, "Father, I understand. I am willing to withdraw from the fight for the title of boss. From now on, I will devote myself to training. Not meet your expectations. Attempt to be a good helper of death. Father, please say goodbye first." When he finished, he turned and left. IP cardboard look according to the back shadow IP Han. Sighing, I thought everything was good. It's just too deep. When the throat, he can quickly adjust his mood. A few days after the party, God of the world has begun to be oppressed by the snow. It's not just the trade that's under attack. Disciples of the world's gods in the city guards. The army was also gradually destroyed. Other families did not dare to participate. There are 8 things going on right now. Heard, God of the world for winning the title. They want to create treason. The snow is called another name. Say no? Clearly, their families are at odds. The snow looks like that. So just suppress them. The Red Cross is talking so fast. It's already snowed out. It's definitely from the dressing room. To catch our loopholes. This bastard would have killed him if he had known. It's not that easy to settle with me. He ordered the judge. Starting from today, break ties with the dark society. There's no evidence. The snow will have no way to capture our weaknesses. The man hiding in the dark took orders. The rosy judge says it's up to you to make a fuss. Transferring scenes at the Genius Department of the Holy LAN Academy. Students talk. Heard, basic law of Holy LAN Academy provides. Everything changed to the new method of snow. It seems to be French, discovered in some treasure. I don't know about our previous law. How high is it? Someone else asked, real or fake? Kia replied to my casket saying that. But they don't know. It's the masterpiece of photography. He's sitting. When I was quiet, a man came to ask me, brother. You are also a genius. The photographer startled me. Ask yourself who you are. Someone else comes in to ask you. Even this person doesn't know why. This is the dragon warrior of the world. So far, it's been a 5-star bronze bar. Ingenious ban. He's also a super genius in front of number 10. Silent photographer. He is a disciple of the 7 great disciples of the NDTO. The dragon asked back. You are the new genius of SAO. Are you interested in following me? The photographer asked stupidly. You are a man of pride. I didn't realize why. Silly people think of hearing about my condition. Not only not afraid, on the contrary, the atmosphere is stronger. Maybe the background behind him is too strong. The photographer asked again, you did not attend the festival of the Sao? Made the dragon startled to ask, what kind of world are you? The photographer replied bluntly, you have no right to know. You are a man of AI, the white knight or the sword. It was amazing to think back and talk about it. The identity of those three young men. That is, he said, I am the man of the sword. The photographer stood up and said it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad to have money. He told me to meet Chen next time. I will mention a few words to you. And left in the shock of these two idiots. And then, ingenious class. 6 adventure god. Not. We still have to keep listening. I'm so tired of losing my teacher. Parksy also nodded in agreement. Divorce cosmetic face. If not threatened by the gods of the world. I could have been 2 more places. Yes, near the capital, there is an old house. No one knows what it's used for. But a year later, the Lord will find out. It's the legacy of a superpower. Then, the Dark Guild has sent people to spy. But they were all killed by the apes. There must be something secret about this place. The photographer excitedly told me where to go. Let's go together later. Park Z agreed. Based on our strength, I was able to join the expedition. And then suddenly, the students swirled. It turns out that the child stopped appearing. A young man said, I still have hope. I don't know when she'll be able to come to our class. I didn't expect to come back. The name next to him said bewildered, a young woman that many people admire. Stop going to class and take a look. Then she asked him to stop. Why are you here? She was happy to call the photographer. He made his eyes drop on him as if. She laughed in the cold. Of course, the elite. It is easy to be envied by others. My son told me to find you. 6 adventures quickly give way to the beautiful. Speak at the right time. We're going to a place. Let's go together. But in my mind, how do you explain it to the dead? Suddenly, someone came to ask the photographer, I can't believe you're also interested in coming here. When I looked up, I saw Chen Lin's sword. Smile softly. The photographer told me to come and have a look for a while and then leave. But Chen Lin's sword reminded him to be careful. In this class, there are many eyes and ears of God. The judge, also, ever appeared here. The photographer blinked, signaling I understood. Thanks for the reminder. The others were also surprised. I can't believe he can even talk to Chen. See, this is a great character. We shouldn't have poked him. Suddenly, they were surprised when there's a lettuce figure again. Ask him why he came here. While this side, Chen Lin asked, why are you guys having so much fun practicing? The photographer explained, the academy recently launched a new cultivation method. Tran can try lamb. Chen Lin asked in surprise, it is more powerful than my law. I have to try Sao. Suddenly, they looked at Kier. It's hard to understand what this guy is doing here. It turns out that Han Yi is cool to appear here. I saw the cold face of Han. That makes all the kids in the class scared. Body trembling. 7 Chen Lin's sword is afraid to target you. Do you need me to come out for you? But you don't have to refuse. Thank you, Tran missing. If we even have to hide, why? I dare to call myself a fake. The photographer looked straight at the Han. And he's pointing straight at him. I told you to come out. Stop the child full of worry. Park proposed photography. He's strong. If you need help, just say so. Take a step back and say rest assured. Meet me, kill me. Meet Buddha, kill Buddha. Let's follow him and walk out. The school grounds are buzzing with reports of a fight. Fighting. There's a good play to see. Young people ask each other why. At this point, the photographer insisted on standing opposite IP Han. I don't know what you're looking for. Han said, if you had called me brother. I have to teach you very carefully today. There are higher mountains. The best thing to do is not to be too arrogant. I didn't stop because I was afraid of you. This time I came to warn you. Stay away from the dead for a while. When the photographer finished listening, he laughed. How full of provocation. The hot-blooded lamb Deep Han stared at. The young people outside grinned and rubbed. Turns out, it's all because the other woman said. Maybe this is the man's expression. The woman grabbed the coat and said, that's good. I also want to see you brag like that. What's the bravery after all? Then he threw out his coat. Immediately a love spirit, golden armor earth dragon appears. It growls fiercely. Nie Li was stunned and exclaimed, it is true that Deep Tong is very loyal to Dia Long. I use black scale earth dragon. The adopted son used the golden armor earth dragon. Really has the heart of a golden dragon. Even stronger than the black scale dragon. In the same war system, then only second to the real earth dragon. At this time, Deep Han also quickly transformed, merged with Love Lin Ra. A very cool interface. But Nie Li was very calm. Say Love Lin is strong or not, then it depends on the provocative user. Come and talk. Then he also transformed into a tiger and panda. Ready to fight. Now, the two people have transformed with a fierce aura. And prepare for battle. A young man below asked in confusion, why tiger panda? Compared to the rank of Kim Jiap Dia Long, so inferior. Golden armor earth dragon is the pinnacle existence in the black gold demon Shu. Other name, no, I have seen the genius war. He can defeat the genius of the divine family. Making Kier dumbfounded. That is probably due to the efforts of Nie Li Gaocheng. This tiger and panda are considered special, but can destroy the golden armor Earth Dragon Sao. Meanwhile, Nie Li with a chubby bear appearance. Make Deep Han confused. Ask you want her WHAT. Use this toy to fight me. Really don't know life or death. Photographer, who doesn't know how to live or die, just hit first and then talk. Older brother. We often think that the process of dream fusion is the fusion of the spirit. Usually love this powerful spirit. Devour other spirits. This tiger-tooth panda is in its most perfect state. It also does not make a 7 hope. Deep Han immediately rushed over and said he had not seen the coffin yet. Shed tears for me to see. See how brave you are. Suddenly, his tail came down with a bang. Caused the ground to explode. But surprisingly, when the photographer can quickly dodge. Makes Deep Han also have to sigh really fast. Immediately, he continued to attack. Like a thief jumping to dodge. Deep Han aesthetics is indeed the successor of the Lord. Air strikes without interruption. Combat ability compared to spirit masters of the same level. Much stronger. On the side of Deep Han with consecutive attacks. But cannot prove, made him Akai angry and purple with anger, thinking he deserved to die. He is just 5-star silver. But we still didn't hit him. He immediately re-evaluated himself. Maybe we were a bit hasty. So immediately tense up. Burst out powerful soul force rushed in. Tell me I have underestimated you. Now we'll show you. Take my true power. See this source of terror. Made the others gasp in amazement. This match is really extraordinary. But Nie Li reminded him to shout. Stop looking. Run away, lamb. The Kier girls were startled and quickly listened to Theo and ran away. Later, Nie Li immediately opened his mouth wide and let out a long sigh. Then clasped hands and gathered resources. Suddenly, a blinding light enveloped him. Meanwhile, Deep Han immediately used the move, Earth Dragon Flame eruption emitting powerful fire gas. The son of Nie Li immediately counterattacked with the move Kwang. Dark energy violently blows out the source of yin and yang energy. Immediately, 2 VA hits it. Each other to create an explosion, like an atomic bomb going off. Make the nosy youth run away. Saw and exclaimed in horror. The power is terrible. The others shouted and ran quickly to the other side. The explosion shook the heavens and the earth. Deep Han was also knocked far away and fell to the ground. Charred body. He looked ahead and breathed heavily. Suddenly, a figure gradually appeared. It is none other than Nie Li. He is still cool as a gourd and stands firm. Secretly thought before retreating 10 meters back. But still shocked by the violent light and dark energy. Should not have been so powerful. While fighting with Judge. Also exploded with unimaginable power. See Ra after it, and fire meet. Then the power will be increased. At this time, the students standing around watching were also affected, but was knocked head first. Asked in horror, how terrible is this power after all? As the smoke gradually dissipates, then before their eyes was a huge hole. Fire caused by the last blow. Deep Han stood up in confusion. Stunned, bewildered, thinking, how can this be obvious? I am the #1 genius of Kwangwi City. At only 20 years old, I have reached the golden age. But why is the kid only 10? 34 years old, can have power equal to me. No wonder even his godfather indulged him like that. Based on his character. If it continues to grow, then sure, he will be a loving master again. The legend of Kwang Wi. Until then, even if you say, to the west, she gave her title to the regent. He will also agree. The snow will also support it. His marriage and death. All our efforts will be wasted. What have we been counted for so far? He knew it from a young age. I want to be the owner of the city. I want to get married as a wife. Because of this evil, he risked his life studying and practicing. All kinds of contempt for being a foreigner. But right now, because of the presence of the photographer, it seems like everything is falling apart. He decided he wouldn't let anyone take away what belongs to him. Han stepped on a strong foot. The ground is broken. Eyes full of gas. He opened his mouth frantically screaming. The photographer remained calm and angry. Being angry is useless. But suddenly, the Korean body continues to change. The hands and the body began to grow sharp thorns. Body transformation is extremely violent when the tightness flares around. Surprised the photographer. I can't believe it in this situation and still be able to complete the transformation. To explain variation that is in the process of soul, the force in the body of the spirit of love is merged with the spirit of love. It will also transform the soul. Love evolves in a different direction. After the transformation, the power of the spirit will increase greatly. There will also be another ability. His eyes turned red. If we continue to maintain this state, it's a little reluctant. Let's see after the transformation. How strong can you be? Photographer hastened out punch. And the Han faction waited for more that Lao to attack. He's madly throwing punches. Immediately, the photographer also contorted to avoid, but directly counterattack, causing the ground below to crumble. The photographer jumped after the violent boom felt. The use of soul soldiers makes both hands numb. Then land on balance. In the meantime, the crowd hurriedly reminded Han carefully. Now from the tail to the edge. Quickly, if you can escape in time, you'll not be able to escape. This curtain makes the ground drop. Immediately flipped over. It doesn't use atmospheric gravity. That's why IP Han is forced down by gravity. That fell down a beam. He still tries to get up. Her eyes were red, looking at the photographer. Suddenly, she struck out a lightning strike. The lightning's coming to the arm violently. And then he goes straight to the ribs. Make IP Han breathe. This made it impossible for Han to resist. He soared up into the air a meter away and fell to the ground with a beam. Aesthetic photographer of Kim's rib. Is unshielded armor. The downside after the transformation. Same as before. They claim you are not my enemy. Give up. It's amazing how students ask each other, what's going on? At first, it was clear that Han was dominant. How can you? Knocked down by a counterattack. At this point, Han was beaten back to its original form. Hugging my ribs in pain. Vietnam here identified the best photographer. Is martial arts. The opponent did not have time to turn back. The proof also adds, even if you know the technique, you can't take precautions. Not to mention, Han is a complete stranger. I am not afraid to ask for help. My strength, it's obviously several times higher than the previous one. I am still the first genius in the world. Why can we lose the war? He told the photographer not to take it too soon. This enemy does not report IP Han. We cannot be human. The photographer thought, come to find me and lose martial arts and hold such hatred. What a scary hypocrite. I finally understand. Why before? I don't want to talk about the hops. Then the photographer turned the picture back. At first, he went to. He thinks this type of person, even if I don't show up, they will not be able to sit on the throne. His soul. Basically, not enough so that the elders of the snow world receive him. Cold photographer, IP Han voice. I don't care what you're thinking right now. But you'd better be honest with me. If you find your own way to die, I don't mind giving you a break. Don't even consider me an opponent. Because you're not qualified. This is both hot and cold. Follow the wound and turn away. Look at his figure. Photography, based on his personality. Then I'm afraid I won't be so willing. If he does not stop, then I can only continue to fight him. One person looked at Theo Deep Han and said, Deep Han is the strongest person in the academy this year. 20 years old, yet lost to a 14-year-old student, Sao. Other names said that Nie Li is too perverted. Now in Kwangwi City, perhaps the title of #1 genius belongs to Nie Li. Nie Li told his friends, let's go. The gossiping students quickly dispersed. On the side of Deep Han now. He is in so much pain right now. When he had broken a few ribs, he immediately used his healing breath. Take out the medicine and apply it. Suddenly, someone came, coldly said was once the #1 genius in Kwangwi City, but now it's like a stray dog here. Lick the wound. So pitiful. Deep Han heard that and stood up angrily asking, "Who is that?" Turns out to be Tham Tu. She slowly walked over and said, "I just care about you a little." "Why so angry?" "Cold leaf." Then asked, "Miss, what do you want from me?" Then Ra Deepan is a former classmate of Tham Tu. She smiled slightly, speaking as the tale of the Lord. "Great, man, you're willing to give that position to someone else later." Deepan glanced and replied, "It's none of your business." She heard and laughed again. "You're still the same as always, cold." "I really don't understand what's so good about that girl Deep Tuvan, but make you so lovelorn." This made Deepan silent. Then she smiled faintly and said, "If I say, I have a way to help you get the position of City Lord, and just got the purple cloud, are you interested?" "He is naughty. I told you to take good care of your family first." Tham Tu reminded, "The Holy Family in Kwangwi City has been there for more than 1,000 years. Of course, it cannot easily collapse. Defeated the Twiat family. It's not easy to oppress us. And you are just an adopted child of the Deep Tong. You think Nie Li does not appear. Then you will be qualified to be the Lord of Sao." This ridiculous statement seemed to hit his heart. Make Deepan hot-blooded. He immediately pulled out a knife and put it to her neck. Then coldly asked, "Do you believe I killed you?" Tham Tu said, "You can't treat your old friend like that. I know what kind of person you are. You cannot kill me." Deepan asked again, "What kind of person do you think I am?" She replied, "You are a great genius. But to achieve the goal will not hesitate to use any means. You understood from the start. You want to become the Lord. Will certainly encounter many obstacles. Except for a few people from the Deep Tong sect. The Fong Twiat family are all your enemies. Only the Divine family. Only then can you get the position of City Lord." Deepan asked, "Are you kidding me?" Judge Tu suggested again, "If add Dark Guild then Sao." Hearing this, Deepan was surprised and asked, "You guys indeed colluding with the Dark Guild? Aren't you afraid I'll tell everyone about this?" Tham Tu laughed out loud, "Haha, so what?" "Deepang, don't be so childish. Fong Twiat family already knew the relationship between us and the Dark Guild. But they have no proof. Fong Twiat family, if you destroy us for some baseless reasons. So what's going on with Fong Twiat family?" Deepan said, "Why care about them? If I were the Lord, will destroy you directly." Tham Tu laughed happily, "Haha. You're not the Lord now. Then what do these words mean? Before you become the Lord, don't say it's the Fong Twiat family or the Divine family. We don't have many AI who value you." This made Deepan silent. Then pulled the knife back. Then leaned close to Tham Tu and said, "Tell me your plan." Tham Tu replied that this place was not appropriate. "You go follow me," so she curled her butt and ran away. Deepa looked at Theo's butt and immediately released Theo, after transfer of border police to the City Lord. After the dark ages of glory, the Citadel has been destroyed many times, but the ancestors before had a rebuild again and again. This is what makes Cho the heir of the noble families, maintained to this day. Most of the architecture in Kwangwi Kai Than are all reconstructed architecture. Later maintain a few arches that have existed since ancient times, still preserved to this day. Nie Li is using stealth skill. But go to the old building. When arriving at the place thinking no one is following, should appear immediately. 6 adventurous questions asking why we came here. When we were kids, we often came here to play, but the center of this building has a barrier. Cannot enter. Nie Li replied, "You'll know soon." Du Trach asked stupidly, "Unless you have a way to break the barrier." 6. I hear people say, "This border, even the great Epididymus can't break it." As the photographer says, "Follow me." Thinking silently. In the previous life when Kuangwi Kai City was destroyed, the suit has destroyed the barrier. After hearing the description, I probably already know the method. 6 exhilarating adventures. Just tell the others to leave. Suddenly, someone called out for 6. Hear the familiar voice. 6 adventure. He rushed out and ran away, bewildered the photographer. Then he pulled back and asked 6 questions that made him stunned. He fell to the ground. The village asked the photographer what you were doing. The photographer asked me what I didn't do. I want to ask you where you're going. But 6 hurriedly got up and said, "Don't ask me again, I'm hiding. Otherwise, you will lose your life." He just walked a few steps and fell on his face. There's a kiss on the ground. He turned and shouted, "Are you still a friend?" It is also true that the fool asked you. Not careful at all. You have to tell me what you want to do. That way we can rest assured. 6 send out men who say they will tell you. He hurried back to remind me. Don't let me drag you back. The photographer asked me not to pull you. Tell me why you have to run away. 6 adventure screams if you still pull the game. He raised his hands and said, "I won't pull you anymore. You go." So 6 people jumped straight. But there was a village shout calling for 6 adventures. You dare to run. Don't look at my face for the rest of your life. Immediately, 6 adventurers turned the car back. Make the photographer stand like a tree when he sees this. He laughed like a fool. The whole body is cowering. It turns out that the person who called the 6 adventurers was Snow Pepper, and she's ready to laugh at your head. She laughed softly when she was a child. 6 adventure and Pepper Snow is the apricot code. It's just that the distance between you two is too far. Finally, according to the family arrangement, Snow must be married to other families. He remembers a past life scene. The 2 lovers are finally separated. 6 living in suffering. It was also when Kuangwi Kai City was destroyed. I just found Snow. Protect Kuangwi Kai City with her 2 sacrifice. If the 6 adventurers are not self-deprecating and weak, dare to resist. Dare to steal back. Maybe the snow is too steep. But the 6-year-old had no reaction. This makes the snow depressing. The photographer looked to himself. Your brother can only help you here. He. People are as bewildered as dogs. Snow turned to ask, "You're all friends of 6. Sao Trach confirmed that. The snow flushed and bowed. "Hello, I'm the fianc of 6. The snow makes the snow shoot people. 6, when he saw that, he stared at him. The snow quickly came to him. He hugged his arm and said, "Thank you, because people have always taken care of the 6. I hope people will help more in the future." After listening to it, Nie Li said for sure, "Absolutely, 6 adventures are incomprehensible." The snow whispered, "Your friends are all here now. That's why I kept my face and sent you home. I'll deal with you later." It scares the shit out of him. Then Snow looked at everyone. 6 adventures have caused more trouble for everyone. Laughing confirmed that, haha. Do 6 words with this friend. Snow saw that and glared her eyes. The atmosphere makes 6 adventure telbo matches think modestly. Does anyone answer like you? The photographer saw that, and then he could talk. Welcome to join. Just joined our 5th team. Let's go. Snow asked me where I was going. The photographer laughed and replied, "Follow us and we will know." Immediately, we all went into battle. The photographer immediately recognized the 10,000 statues of space. The original inhabitants of Kwangwi have got hold of this. SAO Past Life in Space Love Reishi Letter. I can only read two. Description of the 10,000 statues of space. That sentient beings grasp these two practices. It's even less. The remnants of Love Reishi Letter is also wavering. Maybe it has something to do with this place. They say we're in the fray. Maybe the front is the border. Suddenly, he felt something. Put your hand in front of you. Surprised at the smooth exclamation. Then the arm is pushed out. His whole body was as dormant as a tree. The 6 voices are this boundary. I remember when I was a child, I came here to break this barrier. Then the tiger took the axe and rushed into the boundary. I asked him indifferently, and then asked him why. The 6 heads of the result of flying the axe blade, cutting off the hat of a young boy. The boy was so scared that he peed at the battle, crying and running to tell the elder. I was beaten by my father for a fight. Spends the snow in 6 feet and said, "You can talk about losing face like that." Do 6 painful clown adventure told photographer. Don T use a weapon to cut it. He touched the border and said, "This is the first frontier of the late Ola Empire. Use 23 magic Kai stones. To be a transportation center. Once shipped. Up to 10 legendary fake powers. Don't even dream of breaking it. If you want to use a weapon. Unless you have the power of a legend." Haha, so they laughed. 6 exasperated adventurers say we were not young, then, SAO. Who knows what it is not to laugh at? The fish couldn't help but laugh. Turn to the photographer. Is there any way you can break this barrier? The photographer stroked his chin in a way. But we have to research first. Everybody take a break. So we all agreed. A moment later, at this time, 6 adventurers for the south are angry that they beat. Then the child is still facing the glass and blush. The snow came to ask her if she had stopped. Stop being startled and nod. The snow praises you for being beautiful. When St. Lan Academy came up, the class has heard about you. A famous American girl from the whole school. Stop being afraid to say too much. The snow said more. It's a little surprising that you can be with them. Because everyone says you're a cool girl. Not paying attention to anyone else. Stop thinking, yes, I have changed too. It's all because of everything. He was in training that day. From that day on, our lives struggle but are weak. Because of the appearance of a person who changes. A permanent body appears in the head. There's no way it can be erased. That gives us dignity, confidence, and freedom. It also makes us a lot of friends. I can see the fisherman staring at the photographer. Snow for an hour. The little fish startled me and said I was too afraid to pay attention. The snow laughed and said no. The fish said, 6 adventurers is actually a very interesting person. It's not a little serious though. But he's a very good person. It means gas. Then praise the snow. I admire your courage. You can at least say who you like later. Then she turned to look at the photographer. The snow is welcome to join us. These words make the snow beautiful. Before, my family has always opposed me, and I've traveled back and forth. But lately, there seems to be no more 6-pack. Then we know. Then Ra's 6 suddenly became stronger. It seems to be related to photography.